Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Kofefi. I am your host, Carter Laren, and I'm joined by a birthday girl, Keri Smith. Hey, Keri.
Hi, Carter. Good morning.
We both have issues today. Other than that you're a year older, we also have technical issues today, both of us.
We do. My computer's not working right now, so I'm on my phone, and the phone seems to be fine.
Yeah, the phone's better. I can see you better. I can see the picture behind you better. Your books are clearer on the bookshelves. It's actually much preferable to your computer.
To my laptop?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, a woman of my advanced age prefers the the Vaseline lens of my laptop camera.
We won't ask how old you are today. We'll just wish you a happy birthday.
Well, thank you. I mean, I would tell you I don't have issues about how old I am, other than Antifa stalking me. But I guess knowing the day is just enough anyway.
Yeah. And knowing the day is
probably enough.
My technical issues are we have no power because it's slightly windy. So
I still can't wrap my head around this. They just turn all your power off. Where are you?
I'm at a friend's house in San Francisco because we live, well, actually also for Antifa reasons, I won't say exactly where, but we live outside of the city in an area that it's kind of semi-rural, but it's woodsy, and they turned off all of the electricity to a whole bunch of the Bay Area because they're slightly worried about a fire starting, I guess. And it's 2019, so technology it's just not possible to deliver power.
It's so weird.
Yeah, I think I said this before, but I think I might have even said this yesterday, but my wife was like, what the hell? We've got power in Shenzhen during typhoons. Why?
Right.
Why don't you have power? But, it's like most things, it's a monopoly. PG&E got sued or, had to pay a bunch of money, which is our power company. They're just trying to be safe. And I think they're trying to send a political message, like stop making us pay for forest fires, or we'll just cut off the power to people so we won't have them. I don't know. It is generator time though, but better than a generator is doing the show from a friend's house. So here I am. Camera probably looks different. Mic looks different, but
it does. Everything looks and sounds different. However, we just discovered, guys, look at this. I never saw this before. It's just on the phone, maybe.
Yes, we can be in San Francisco together. Here, we're on Zoom, and Zoom has these virtual backgrounds. Yeah, it doesn't capture that. And the microphone's like hidden, like a sci-fi thing. I can like reveal it. I can kind of reveal the microphone by putting my hand, maybe a little bit. I don't know. I thought I could do it before, but now it's not really working. There's a mic there.
This cracks me up.
It's pretty funny.
Okay. Should we do this like this? No, it's too funny. I can't.
Should we talk about actual things, or do people just want to watch us play with stupid virtual backgrounds? It's your birthday, so I should go easy. We can be sillier.
It's my birthday? Yes. Yeah, let's be silly and let's do fast because we have to do deprogram. And also, I have a dog arriving. I should just let you know now.
Excellent.
I have to pause it.
Well, I'm not into sports generally, so this is not something that I'm paying too much attention to, but I think it raises some interesting questions. Are you familiar with any of this NBA China thing that's happening? Because I think people might be interested in it, which is why I think it's worth talking about.
No, just the bare minimum. Can you fill me in?
Yeah, so I guess just at a high level, sometimes people forget how huge China is, and just from an economic perspective and a people perspective, how important it is for businesses to be there, why businesses want to be there. So just in terms of basketball, first of all, the NBA is the most popular sports league in China, which might sound odd, but it's the NBA. They have, first of all, 300 million people in China play basketball. That's almost the entire population of the U.S. actually play basketball. Yes.
Wow.
There's 800 million viewers of the NBA in China. So more than twice the entire population of the U.S. watches the NBA in China, and their social media site is has almost twice as many followers in China, and that's particularly impressive considering that there are many parts of China where it's very rural. So this is probably mostly concentrated in urban areas. But anyway, being in China is understandably important to the NBA from a business perspective, right? That's a lot of
okay.
That's a lot of
people.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. So what happened, I guess, is this dude, I guess his name is Daryl Morey. He's the general manager of the Houston Rockets. Apparently, the Houston Rockets were quite popular in China. Who'd have thought? On Friday, he tweeted out, "Fight for freedom, stand with Hong Kong." Okay, so first of all, it's Twitter. So the GM of an American NBA team who used an American-based platform to tweet support for Hong Kong. He later deleted it because there was such outrage in China that he would openly support Hong Kong protesters. Wait, did you say something?
No, keep going.
Yeah. So, one of the things that's weird to me. So, first of all, it's hard to understand actually how much outrage there is by fans and how much it's the government claiming that there's outrage. It's hard to tell sometimes in China what's real and what's government news. It's not much different than, imagine if your only news source was CNN. It would be a little bit difficult to tell what was actually happening in the world. So it's kind of like that. So sometimes it's hard to really tell. But let's see, China. So CCTV, which is China's largest state-run television network, they decided to not air some exhibition games between the Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets that were scheduled to air. And they said, we are strongly dissatisfied. And so remember, it's kind of a TV network talking, but it's the Chinese government talking, right? This is not like some people who own a TV network in China independently using their own judgment. This is Chinese government.
Government.
Right.
Okay.
We're strongly dissatisfied and oppose. Sorry. I need to back up. So Adam Silver is the commissioner of the NBA, and I actually liked his response. His response was, Daryl Morey, as general manager of the Houston Rockets, enjoys that right to free expression as one of our employees, he said in a news conference. So he was kind of like, yeah. And he also said, what I also tried to suggest is that I understand there are consequences from his freedom of speech, and we will have to live with those consequences. All right, that's a pretty good, that's a decent
defense
response. Like, yeah, there's consequences, but we're going to live by them because he has free speech. So CCTV says, we're strongly dissatisfied and oppose Adam Silver's claim to support Morey's right to freedom of expression. That's pretty overt. We don't like it. And then they say, we believe that any remarks that challenge national sovereignty and social stability are not within the scope of freedom of speech.
What? What?
I know. It sounds like Antifa. This is CCTV. This is China's response.
Oh, China's response. That's hilarious. It does sound like Antifa.
It kind of sounds like Antifa, right? And so since then, there's been some back and forth. Remember, the GM actually, Daryl Morey actually deleted his tweets because he was nervous about the response. And since then, there's been some weird stuff. So then the NBA later released a statement. So this is after the commissioner said his thing. And the statement is a little bit backpedaling. The English statement says, "We recognize that the views expressed by Houston Rockets general manager Daryl Morey have deeply offended many of our friends and fans in China, which is regrettable." Now, this was issued by Mike Bass, who is the communications VP at the NBA. Now, okay, that sentence is not horrible. It's kind of it's one of those weird apologies where, like, I recognize that you feel bad. That's too bad. Like, okay, I'm kind of okay with that, right? It's like, we recognize that his views have offended you. That's regrettable.
Yeah, we acknowledge that you've been offended.
Yeah, okay. But then he says, while Daryl has made it clear that his tweet does not represent the Rockets or the NBA, that's true. The values of the league support individuals educating themselves and sharing their views on matters important to them. We have great respect for the history and culture of China and hope that sports and the NBA can be used as a unifying force to bridge culture divides and bring people together. So a bunch of gobbledygook that doesn't mean anything, but not an apology, really, and not a recognition that anything's wrong. Although some people are like, that's backpedaling. I'm like, that's not really backpedaling. That's not backpedaling. That's a recognition that they're offended. Fine. But weirdly, the Chinese version of this statement on the Chinese website in Chinese is it's worded slightly differently. It says,
okay,
"We feel greatly disappointed at Houston Rockets general manager Daryl Morey's inappropriate speech, which is regrettable." That's
it.
Well, that first sentence that's the big difference, is that first sentence, which is different.
Yeah.
And then they say, without a doubt, he has deeply offended many Chinese basketball fans. He's clarified his stance, doesn't, blah, blah, blah. And the rest of it is kind of similar gobbledygook. But it is distinctly different, because the Chinese one is basically admitting that it's inappropriate speech and we're disappointed by him. Whereas the other one was like, didn't express any disappointment at his speech, didn't say it was wrong, just recognized they were offended, and too bad. So there is a distinct difference, which is why I think some people are upset. And on top of all of this, another interesting thing that then happened after this, which is really bothersome to me, is the Washington Wizards were playing an exhibition game against China Basketball Association's Guangzhou Lung Lions in Washington, D.C. This is in our country where we have freedom of speech. In Washington, D.C. on Wednesday night, last night.
Okay.
I'm reading an article. Multiple groups of protesters supporting pro-democracy demonstrators in Hong Kong were present outside Capital One Arena before the game. Okay. According to Capital, here we go. Ready? The team spokesperson said the building security staff removed signs tonight in accordance with Capital One Arena's long-standing signs, banners, posters, and flags policy. No fans were asked to leave the game. They removed the political signs from them because the sign said "Free Hong Kong." Now they're arguing you're not allowed to have any political speech signs, so that's why. Maybe, but just kind of interesting that it's not clear that they would remove those signs if it was a basketball game between two American teams. That was
right.
So anyway,
if there were some other kind of political signs.
Yeah. So there was a lot of controversy here. I have mixed feelings about this. I don't know why I'm in mixed feelings mode lately, Keri, but I wanted to.
Yeah, you are.
You. Yeah. Look, on the one hand, like I totally, obviously, I'm not supportive of an authoritarian anti-free speech regime, and like, I'm not. Don't take any of this as support for, communist China, because it's not. The question I'm asking is, if you're running a business. So if you're running a business, businesses do ask people to refrain from pissing off governments. That happens in the U.S.
right.
too, by the way. Right? It's not as overt, but I doubt.
I tend to think.
Go ahead.
I don't really have a problem with this. So.
With what?
Like I have a problem with the Chinese government, but I don't have a problem with a sports team, with a private company expecting certain things of their employees, or,
Right, expecting them to play nice and be quiet about certain things.
Right, or not even just play nice, but telling them, like, this is the code of conduct and this is what you're allowed to talk about as in these things. I mean, I know it sounds like, because I'm a free speech absolutist, I don't think it's right, but I think it's legal. I think it should be, I mean, that's within their right. That's within their right to do it. It doesn't make it morally right.
Yeah, and I guess the interesting thing to me is, so I guess one of the reasons that I'm saying I have mixed feelings is what I saw on the right, and you and I often do like a lot of things that conservatives say about free speech and other stuff, because lately they've been more staunch defenders of free speech than the left. But something that I've seen a lot of conservatives do is jump on the NBA for basically not being strong enough, and they're calling them kowtowing to China, and how, you guys are just apologists for China, you're pandering. Trump actually said it was pandering to China. Sorry, what?
They are pandering to China.
Yeah, they are. I wouldn't disagree with that. I guess I wouldn't get outraged by it.
No, I'm not outraged.
They I guess I want to. It's not like that doesn't happen in the U.S. Like, I bet Daryl would get in trouble for tweeting support for Trump.
Of course he would.
Right?
Yeah, this happens all the time.
So there's a code. So companies generally try and play nice with whoever they think the politicians in power are, and that's in the U.S. Obviously, in the U.S. it's better. I'm not saying it's the same as China, but they try and play that game in the U.S. to make sure that, whatever the powerful people aren't pissed at them, and their executives aren't out saying things that the company is worried will hurt their bottom line. And they do the same thing in China. It's more strict in China. So it's, you're more likely to run into issues. But I don't know. I felt like we needed to talk about it because there's been a lot of upset I've seen on the right. People got mad at the ESPN. I do think this was inappropriate. ESPN had a map of China, and they drew a dotted line down to Taiwan and included Taiwan, which is like, yeah. I mean, at least the line was dotted. But obviously, just for those people who don't know what that means, China claims Taiwan is theirs. Taiwan claims it is not part of China. So, and we generally recognize Taiwan as an independent country. So it's a kind of a weird thing to have a map of China with a dotted line that includes Taiwan. But companies they're gonna act in the best interest of their shareholders, and this is what they think the best interest of their shareholders is. So I don't even have necessarily a big moral problem with it. They're supposed to be playing basketball, so it's not like they're philosophers or political commentators or, writing books about truth, justice, and the American way and censoring news. It's basketball. They don't really even need to have an opinion about Hong Kong. So I don't really have a big problem with it, but maybe people will be mad at us for that. I don't know. You don't seem to care.
Why would they?
People are upset about it. I don't know. People got really upset about it.
I've been trying to stay focused because this is about basketball, which I don't care about, and it's about a private company telling that we don't want political signs in our arena. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I agree with you. I don't care about basketball, and I do think private companies can do that. So
I do care about basketball when when I'm watching it with friends who care about it. Then it's really fun because they get into it.
Yeah, but you don't follow basketball normally.
I don't follow basketball, no.
Right. Yeah, I guess
when I was at Duke, I didn't follow basketball, which was kind of
it's a big deal at Duke.
It's a big deal at Duke, yeah. And we had a band. You could get in. I was in the band with the band shirt, right? It's like all the band members would come. The stadium our fan section wasn't big enough for all the band. We were assigned different games. But all the band members would squeeze in there because they want to come to the games. So I would just I ended up abandoning some of the games because too many band members. And people were like, "Hi." on the campus, can I have that shirt?
Yeah.
So, anyway,
Well,
I don't know. I'm going off topic because I'm rambling. Whatever. I'm sorry.
no. I get it. I don't.
appreciate you.
I only care because sports is a cultural thing, and like we talk about culture, and I just wanted to bring it up because it is a cultural issue.
Well, I'm sure. Well, thank you for taking time to educate me about what's going on around it.
Yeah, and I probably mispronounce names, and huge basketball fans can jump on me for other stuff that's been happening. I think there was some other can't kneel during the Chinese national anthem, that kind of crap. But that's what you expect. I mean, when you go into a country like China, if you want the NBA to be in China, this is what's going to happen if they need to stay in China. So if not, then don't be in China. That's fine. All right. Well, we've got Deprogrammed later, although this will probably come out after Deprogrammed. I don't know how I'm going to edit this. My editing computer is back home without power, but I got some options. So I'll edit this and get it up. But thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Yell at us if you didn't like this content. Tell us what you want to see instead. We're always looking for interesting things to talk about. So tell us what you want.
You can yell at Carter. I don't like to be yelled at.
I don't care. So yell at me all you want. Yeah, what else? I don't know. Go to unsafespace.com. You can support the show on Subscribestar, and we'll see you in a little while. And one last time, happy birthday to Keri.
Thank you, sir. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye.